There are moments in life when the heart wants to explode with frustration, when the tongue trembles on the edge of sharp words, when anger rises like a storm determined to break free. And yet, in those very moments, Allah whispers a lesson so profound, it can transform the entire direction of a believer's life. Stay silent. Hold your tongue. Protect your heart. Silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is strength wrapped in wisdom, patience, and faith. It is a shield that guards the soul when emotions try to drag it into regret.
Think about it. How many hearts have been shattered by a single sentence? How many friendships crumbled under the weight of careless words? How many nights have we spent wishing we could take back something we said in a moment of anger? Our words are not just sounds, they are seeds. We plant them in the hearts of others, and what grows depends on what we sow. A gentle word can heal a wound you never knew existed. A harsh one can create a wound that never fully recovers. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. There will be moments when someone provokes you, misunderstands you, mocks you, or speaks with cruelty while you speak with sincerity. And your heart will scream, answer them, defend yourself. But silence at that moment becomes an act of worship. It becomes a declaration of trust. Trust that Allah sees, Allah knows, and Allah will handle what your words never could. Restraint is not easy. It feels like swallowing fire while your soul trembles. But Allah promises that those who control their anger and their tongues are among the strongest of believers. And every second you hold back, every insult you rise above, every moment you choose peace over pettiness, you are rising in rank before the one who matters most. Sometimes silence is your dignity. Sometimes silence is your protection. Sometimes silence is your prayer. And sometimes silence is the difference between a moment of emotion and a lifetime of regret. So today, make a promise to your heart. When anger rises, pause. When emotions flare, breathe. When words rush to your tongue, hold them. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to seek Allah's pleasure above your own ego. May your silence soften hearts. May your silence protect your peace. May your silence bring you closer to Allah. And may your silence be the reason Allah opens doors you never imagined. Let your tongue rest. Let your heart speak. And let your patience testify that you trust Allah's timing more than your own impulses. The power of silence is one of the most underestimated gifts Allah has given us. Yet it is among the most powerful tools for emotional strength, spiritual growth, and inner peace. Silence is not simply the absence of speech, it is the presence of wisdom. It is the moment when the heart steps forward and the ego steps back. In a world overflowing with noise, arguments, opinions, judgments, and endless reactions, silence becomes a sanctuary, an act of worship that strengthens our character and deepens our relationship with Allah. There are moments in life when our emotions run like wild rivers, pushing us to say something, anything, just to release the pressure. Anger demands expression, pain seeks acknowledgement, impatience urges us to respond immediately. Yet, the greatest transformations often occur when we choose not to speak. Imagine standing in the middle of a heated moment where your tongue burns with the desire to answer back. You feel wronged, misunderstood, or disrespected. Your heart beats faster, your breath grows shorter, and every part of you wants to unleash whatever is boiling inside. But instead you pause. You breathe. You let the moment settle, and you remain silent. That silence is not emptiness. It is discipline. It is strength. It is the soul remembering that Allah is watching and that His justice is far greater than your response could ever be. In that pause, you are not losing the battle, you are winning a deeper, more meaningful one. The battle against yourself. Silence becomes powerful because it protects you from saying words you cannot take back. Words are like arrows once released. They cannot return without causing impact. How many times have we regretted something said in anger? How many relationships have been strained because of a careless comment? How many nights have we spent replaying conversations wishing we had remained quiet instead? Silence saves us from these wounds. It becomes a shield between us and regret. But silence is not only about avoiding harm, it is also about creating space for clarity. When you do not rush to speak, you allow yourself to observe the moment with a clearer heart. You begin to understand the situation instead of just reacting to it. You hear what is being said, not just with your ears, but with your heart. You start to see the pain behind someone's harsh words,
the confusion behind someone's anger, or the weakness behind someone's disrespect. Silence gives you the gift of perspective, and perspective leads to compassion. When you remain silent for Allah, you are choosing His guidance over your emotions. You are surrendering your need to be right and embracing your need to be righteous. That alone brings you closer to Him. Every moment of silence becomes a prayer from the heart. Yea, Allah, guide my tongue. Protect me from myself. The power of silence also lies in how it heals. Sometimes the heart needs quiet moments to realign itself with truth. Speaking too soon can interrupt the healing process. Remaining silent can calm a storm within you before it becomes a storm around you. Silence allows your mind to settle, your thoughts to organize, and your heart to find peace. It helps you listen to yourself, to others, and most importantly, to Allah. For how can we hear His guidance when our hearts are noisy with anger or frustration? When you choose silence, you are also choosing dignity. You are rising above pettiness, refusing to be dragged into negativity. You are strengthening your self-control, polishing your character, and showing the world that you are guided by something far greater than your emotions. Silence becomes a testimony of your faith and act that says, I trust Allah to take care of what I cannot. There is deep spiritual reward in holding your tongue. Allah loves those who restrain their anger, those who protect others from harm, and those who choose goodness even when they are tested. When you stay silent in a moment of temptation, the angels write it down as an act of worship. Your silence becomes sadaqah. It becomes purification. It becomes a reason Allah elevates your rank and pours tranquility into your heart. And what happens after the silence? Allah replaces your restraint with blessings. He replaces your sadness with peace. He replaces your anger with clarity. He replaces your weakness with strength. Silence, when chosen for the sake of Allah, never leaves you empty. It always returns with something greater. So the next time you are tested, when your heart feels heavy and your tongue feels sharp, remember the power Allah placed in silence. Remember that you are not being asked to suppress your feelings, but to rise above them. You are not being asked to be silent forever, but to speak only when your words carry wisdom, kindness, and sincerity. Silence is not about holding back your truth. It is about choosing the right moment, the right words, and the right intention. It is about letting your heart breathe before your tongue speaks. And in that space of stillness, you will find strength, clarity, and a deeper connection with Allah that words alone could never give. Every word we speak carries a weight far greater than we often realize. Words are not merely sounds produced by the tongue, they are seeds planted into the hearts of others and into our own souls. Some seeds grow into comfort, healing, courage, and hope. Others grow into wounds, fears, anger, or disappointment. Once planted, they take root in ways we may never see, shaping the lives, emotions, and memories of those who receive them. This is why Allah teaches us to guard our tongues, because every word is an act of planting, and the harvest will return to us in ways we may not expect. Think of how a garden grows. A farmer does not toss seeds carelessly into the soil. Every seed is placed with intention, knowing that whatever is planted will eventually become visible. Our words work the same way. With just a single sentence, we can brighten someone's darkest day or crush someone's spirit. With a gentle phrase, we can rebuild trust, mend a broken bond, or remind a hurting soul that Allah's mercy is near. And with a harsh phrase, we can scar a heart for years. This is the power hidden within, the tongue hidden within something so small and yet so impactful. Imagine a parent speaking lovingly to their child. That love becomes a seed that grows into confidence, security, and emotional strength. Now imagine that same child hearing constant criticism, hurtful remarks, or belittling comments. Those words become seeds too, but their harvest is different. They produce self-doubt, fear, anger, and brokenness. The child grows, but the wounds grow with them. And all of it came from the planting of words. Now, think of yourself. Think of moments when someone spoke to you with kindness, sincerity, and gentleness. Those words settled into your heart and stayed with you. Perhaps they lifted you during a difficult moment or reminded you of your worth when you had forgotten it. And think also of the words that cut you, words you still remember years later, words that made you cry in silence. words that changed how you saw yourself, words that shaped your insecurities. They were only words, yet they left footprints across your soul. This is why being conscious of what we plant is a form of worship. Allah rewards not only the big acts of charity, prayer and fasting, but also the seemingly small acts of kindness that flow from the tongue. A gentle greeting, a sincere compliment, a prayer whispered for someone, a word of encouragement, these are all seeds of goodness. They bloom long after they are spoken, sometimes at moments when the receiver needs them most. You might not remember what you said, but Allah knew the exact moment when that word settled into a heart that was aching for relief. There is also a spiritual dimension to the words we plant. When you speak positively, when you offer hope and remind others of Allah's mercy, you are watering your own soul. Your heart softens, your character strengthens, and your faith deepens. Speaking good is an act of worship because it purifies the heart. Just as harmful words darken the soul, gentle words illuminate it. When you choose uplifting speech, you are not only helping others, you are cultivating light within yourself. Words are also seeds of connection. Many relationships, family, friendships, marriages are built or broken by the way people speak to each other. A relationship can survive hardship, disagreements, even distance, but often it cannot survive words that consistently belittle, disrespect, or humiliate. Painful words etch deep lines in the heart, while kind words create bridges of trust. If we truly understood the power of what we say, we would speak with more intention, more compassion, and more awareness. Sometimes words are also seeds of accountability. When we speak promises we do not fulfill, when we spread gossip, when we exaggerate stories, when we speak without thinking, we plant seeds that bring consequences. These consequences return maybe not immediately, but eventually. Allah is just, and nothing from the tongue escapes His knowledge. This should not make us fearful in a negative way. It should make us responsible. It should remind us that every word is recorded, not to burden us, but to protect us from harming ourselves and others. Planting good words does not mean we must always remain quiet or avoid difficult conversations. It means speaking truth with mercy, honesty with gentleness, and correction with love. It means being mindful of the emotional soil into which our words will settle. Some hearts are fragile. Some are exhausted. Some are carrying burdens we cannot see. A kind word in the right moment can be a lifeline. A harsh word in a vulnerable moment can be devastating. Even the words we speak to ourselves become seeds. When we tell ourselves we are failures, unworthy, hopeless, or alone, we plant seeds of despair. But when we speak with compassion, reminding ourselves that Allah is near, that His mercy is vast, and that healing is possible, we plant seeds of resilience. Your self-talk matters as much as your speech to others. The beauty of words is that we have control over them. We choose what we plant. We decide what grows. And even when harmful seeds were planted in our past, we can choose to plant new ones today, seeds of faith, hope, healing, and kindness. Choose your words like a gardener tending to what will one day bloom. Plant good wherever you can, because every word you speak is a seed, and every seed has a harvest, one that returns to you in this life and the next. There are moments in life when silence becomes far more than a choice, it becomes a form of worship. When frustration builds, when misunderstandings tighten around your heart, when someone speaks unfairly to you or about you, every part of your being wants to react. The tongue feels heavy with words waiting to burst out, and the ego insists that you must respond, defend yourself, or correct the wrong done to you. Yet these are the exact moments when restraint becomes a spiritual victory. These are the moments when silence transforms from something passive into something deeply powerful. Holding back, pausing, choosing not to speak impulsively, these actions elevate your character, polish your heart, and draw you closer to Allah in ways you might not immediately see. Life is full of tests, and many of them show up in the smallest interactions. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone raises their voice at you. Someone criticizes you for something you didn't do. Someone misunderstands your intention and assumes the worst. Someone mocks your kindness or belittles your efforts. In each of these moments, you face a choice. Do you let your emotions lead, or do you let your faith guide you? Restraint is not about accepting injustice. It is about choosing the right time and manner to respond. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes silence is the strongest shield you can carry. Think about the last time you reacted impulsively. Maybe you snapped back at someone. Maybe you said something you didn't fully mean, driven more by emotion than truth. Maybe you defended yourself in a way that later felt unnecessary. And afterward, you felt that heavy feeling regret. That feeling exists because deep down you knew your tongue moved faster than your heart. Restraint protects you from this type of regret. It gives you space, the emotional and spiritual space needed to think, breathe, and see the situation with clarity instead of clouded emotion. Moments of restraint are moments of growth. Every time you hold your tongue despite wanting to speak, you strengthen a spiritual muscle within you. You train your heart to rely on Allah rather than on your own impulse. You learn to trust that you don't need to win every argument or explain every detail. Not every attack deserves a response. Not every insult requires clarification. Sometimes silence shows your strength, while reacting shows your weakness. Restraint also protects your relationships. Many conflicts spiral out of control because people speak in moments of anger rather than patience. A harsh sentence spoken in a heated moment can damage a bond that took years to build. A single negative comment can create distance, mistrust, or emotional wounds. But silence chosen wisely can prevent damage that might take a long time to repair. Silence gives room for tempers to settle, for misunderstandings to clarify, for hearts to soften. It prevents you from saying something that your future self will wish could be taken back. There is also a deep humility in restraint. It is the heart acknowledging, I do not need to react. I do not need to prove myself. Allah knows. When you choose silence during a test, you are surrendering the situation to Him. You are allowing His justice to unfold in His timing. And His timing is always better than ours. There is comfort in knowing that the one who sees everything will address what your words never could. Sometimes stepping back allows Allah to step in. Restraint becomes especially important when dealing with people who are emotionally overwhelmed, angry, or hurting. When someone is filled with frustration, they may not be ready to hear your explanation or your defense. In those moments, silence is mercy for them and for you. It allows the emotional storm to pass. It protects both hearts. Later, when things are calmer, the same conversation can take place with clarity and compassion. But in the height of tension, silence is often the wisest path. There is also wisdom in knowing when silence is better than speech. You begin to recognize that not every accusation deserves your energy. Not every misunderstanding needs your correction. Not every criticism requires justification. Restraint teaches you to prioritize your peace over your pride. And pride is often the only thing pushing us to speak in moments when silence would serve us better. Even in your private life, restraint is powerful. Sometimes you want to vent your anger to someone, but sharing your frustration could damage someone else's reputation or spread unnecessary negativity. Restraint protects you from backbiting or speaking unjustly. It keeps your heart clean. It helps you maintain your dignity and the dignity of others. Every time you hold back words that could harm someone's honor, you are protecting your own soul. Most importantly, restraint is an act of trust. It is choosing to believe that Allah sees the truth, hears the truth, and will reveal the truth in the right moment. When you hold your tongue for His sake, He lifts you in ways the world cannot see. He rewards the patience that no one else witnessed. He soothes the heart that you protected through silence. He brings peace to situations you surrendered to Him. Every moment you restrain your tongue, you are writing a page of discipline, wisdom, and faith in the story of your life. You are proving to yourself that you are not controlled by emotion, you are anchored by belief. And with every small victory of silence, your heart grows stronger, your character becomes deeper, and your soul becomes more connected to the one who sees the strength behind your silence. There is a quiet but profound beauty in the spiritual reward that comes from holding your tongue. When you restrain yourself in moments of anger, when you choose patience over reaction, when you soften your words or keep silent entirely for the sake of Allah, something extraordinary happens inside you, something invisible to the world, but deeply felt by the soul. It is as if Allah places a gentle hand over your heart, calming it, strengthening it, and elevating it. Restraint is not just a moral choice, it is a spiritual transaction. You give up a moment of emotional release, and Allah gives you peace, clarity, dignity, and reward far greater than anything your reaction could have achieved. Every believer knows that life continuously tests the heart. There will be people who insult you, situations that push you to your limits, comments that sting, and moments when your sincerity is misunderstood. These experiences can create an urge within you to defend yourself, argue back, or express your frustration. But the true reward often lies in stepping back, swallowing the bitterness, and letting Allah handle what your words cannot. It takes more strength to remain silent in a moment of anger than it does to fight a physical battle. This strength is honored by Allah in ways that are subtle yet transformative. Often the world praises outward accomplishments, wealth, status, eloquence, success, but Allah praises inner victories. He praises the believer who controls their anger, who calms their ego, who speaks with kindness even when hurt, and who avoids harming others with their tongue. These quiet battles are known only to you and your Creator, but they carry immense spiritual weight. In the unseen realm, every moment of restraint elevates your rank. Angels record your patience, your self-control, and your intention to please Allah above pleasing your ego. These are the moments that purify your soul. When you restrain your tongue, you protect your heart. Harsh words spoken in anger do not simply fly outward, they echo inward. They leave traces, they disturb your inner tranquility, they feed your ego and weaken your connection with Allah. But silence, especially when chosen with sincerity, clears the heart. It creates space for reflection, for forgiveness, for empathy. It allows the mind to settle and the soul to breathe. When you hold back from saying something harmful, even if you feel justified, you are choosing peace over chaos. Allah rewards such choices with a feeling of lightness that cannot be explained but only experienced. The spiritual reward of silence also includes protection from sin. Many sins of the tongue, backbiting, slander, insults, mockery, lying, humiliating others, are committed in moments of emotion, not intention. A person rarely plans to hurt someone with their words. It happens because the tongue moves faster than the heart. Restraint stops these sins before they even form. It creates a barrier between your impulse and your action. Every time you remain silent in a situation that could lead to sin, you are earning protection that only Allah can grant. And protection from sin is itself one of the greatest blessings. There is also a deep reward in the way restraint strengthens relationships. When you speak kindly, even when frustrated, when you choose patience with your spouse, your children, your parents, your colleagues, or your friends, you are planting seeds of trust and love. Restraint during conflict prevents wounds that might take years to heal. It shows emotional maturity and sincerity. Allah loves those who repair bonds, not those who break them with harsh words. When you hold your tongue to protect someone's heart, Allah protects yours. And then there is the reward you receive during hardship. When life becomes difficult and you feel overwhelmed, it is natural to complain, to express bitterness, or to speak negatively about your situation. But when you restrain this impulse, when you choose instead to turn inward and talk to Allah quietly in your heart, your patience transforms the difficulty into a source of reward. Every unspoken complaint becomes a silent prayer. Every restrained word becomes a step towards spiritual resilience. When you refuse to let frustration control your speech, you are trusting that Allah's plan is unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. That trust is beloved to Him. It is rewarded with comfort, ease, and unexpected openings. Silence also deepens your spiritual awareness. When you are not constantly speaking, you become more observant. You notice your thoughts, your intentions, your reactions. You begin to understand your own heart. Restraint teaches you to listen more, to listen to others, to listen to your conscience, and to listen to the subtle guidance Allah places within your soul. Through restraint, your inner world grows richer, calmer, and more connected to Him. Eventually, you realize something profound. The moments when you kept silent were not moments of loss, but moments of gain. You did not suppress your voice, you elevated your character. You did not lose the argument, you won peace. You did not allow someone to overpower you, you allowed Allah to defend you with His justice. What you gave up in the moment returned to you multiplied in serenity, wisdom, and spiritual closeness to the one who sees every sacrifice done for His sake. The spiritual reward of restraint is not just in the moment itself, it is in who you become because of it. A calmer heart, a wiser tongue, gentler soul, a stronger faith. These are the gifts Allah gives to those who choose silence when speaking would have been easy but destructive. And these gifts are far more valuable than any temporary satisfaction your reaction could have brought. In a world that constantly tests our patience, challenges our dignity, and pushes our emotions to their limits, choosing peace, kindness, and wisdom becomes both a struggle and a form of devotion. Life places us in situations where our reactions can either elevate us or harm us. Each moment is a crossroads. One path leads to impulsive speech, emotional outbursts, and regrets. The other leads to calmness, strength, and a heart that rests securely in the mercy of Allah. The call to action is simple but deeply transformative. Choose better. Choose silence when anger rises. Choose kindness when ego whispers. Choose wisdom when emotions flare. What we choose in those critical moments shapes who we become, how others experience us, and how close we draw to the one who sees everything. Every day you are given opportunities to practice this choice. Your patience will be tested by family, by strangers, by responsibilities, by disappointments. Words may sting, situations may frustrate you, and people may misunderstand your intentions. But you have power over one thing that no one can take from you: your response. You cannot control the tongues of others, but you can control your own. You cannot control the storms around you, but you can calm the storm within. Responding with wisdom is not about suppressing your emotions. It is about channeling them in a way that protects your peace and pleases Allah. Choosing peace is not always easy. Sometimes it feels like swallowing something sharp, as if staying silent or responding gently means letting someone walk over you. But true strength is not in the ability to shout back or argue. It is in the ability to restrain yourself when your emotions demand otherwise. Every time you choose peace, you rise above the situation rather than sinking into it. You protect your heart from unnecessary turmoil. You show that your dignity does not depend on winning arguments, but on honoring your values. And choosing kindness is equally powerful. A kind word spoken in a moment of tension can dissolve anger like salt dissolves in water. Kindness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is understanding that cruelty adds nothing to your life, but compassion multiplies your blessings. Kindness comforts you as much as it comforts others. It softens your heart, nurtures your character, and shapes you into someone who spreads ease rather than difficulty. Kindness becomes a reflection of the mercy you hope to receive from Allah. Choosing wisdom means not reacting from emotion but from understanding. It means taking a breath before responding. It means asking yourself, will this word help or hurt? Will this reaction bring peace or regret? Wisdom grows with practice. Every time you pause instead of exploding, reflect instead of reacting, you strengthen a habit that will serve you in every part of life. Wisdom turns ordinary moments into opportunities for spiritual growth. It transforms small interactions into acts of worship. This call to action is not just for moments of anger, it is for all moments when you feel tested. When someone disappoints you, choose understanding instead of resentment. When someone speaks harshly, choose calmness instead of retaliation. When life becomes overwhelming, choose to trust Allah instead of drowning in fear. Trust is the heart of this transformation. When you trust Allah's timing, His justice, His wisdom, your reactions naturally soften. You are no longer desperate to control everything or defend yourself constantly. You know that Allah sees the truth. He sees your patience, your silence, your effort, your sincerity, and nothing given for His sake goes unnoticed. Choosing peace, kindness, and wisdom is also choosing long-term reward over short-term satisfaction. The quick satisfaction of reacting, arguing, or proving someone wrong disappears quickly, but the regret stays. The peace that comes from restraint may feel difficult in the moment, but it lasts. It fills your heart with dignity, stability, and contentment. It strengthens your relationships, protects your reputation, and preserves your inner tranquility. It makes you someone others feel safe with, not because you are quiet, but because you are thoughtful. This choice also reflects who you want to become. You are not merely reacting to life, you are shaping your future character with every response. You are building the kind of heart that stays steady in storms, the kind of soul that is not easily shaken, the kind of mind that reflects before speaking. This journey is not about perfection but persistence. Some days you will slip, some days emotions will win. But as long as you keep returning to this intention to choose peace, kindness, and wisdom for the sake of Allah, you will continue to grow. In the end, this call to action is a call to rise above the noise of the world and listen to the quiet guidance within your heart. It is a call to become someone whose presence brings calm, whose words bring healing, and whose actions reflect faith. You have far more strength than you realize, far more control than you think, and far more spiritual potential than you know. Let each moment be a step toward a better you. Choose peace even when chaos surrounds you. Choose kindness even when kindness feels undeserved. Choose wisdom even when your emotions scream otherwise. And allow every choice you make to be a reminder that Allah is with you, guiding you, rewarding you, and strengthening you with every silent victory you win.